Welcome to Future Consumer ADR, a podcast where we discuss what's happening and what's next in consumer and mass claims resolution. Hear from experts in their fields on the latest trends and innovations in consumer and mass arbitration, litigation, and beyond. My name is Adam Shoneck, host of the podcast. I'm Vice President of Business Development for the AAA, and I've been with the AAA for 16 years, nearly all of which has been in the consumer space. Today, I'm joined by Andrew Barton, AAA Vice President and all-around AI Arbitrator guru. Today, we're talking about the AAA's AI Arbitrator and its potential applications. Andrew, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Thank you very much, Adam. It's a pleasure to be here with you and your audience today. My name is Andrew Barton. I have largely been a commercial vice president for the American Arbitration Association for the better part of 15 or 20 plus years, but I've been with the association for over 3 decades, over 30 years, doing a variety of activities as long as they keep me around.
Excellent. And you recently moved over to work on our AI Arbitrator, which launched in November, correct, for small construction disputes. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, sometime just before November, about 25 or 30 of us moved over to help support AI Arbitrator and the development of other AI native enabled tools that we're going to be rolling out to our clients over the next year and a half to 2 years.
Excellent. So, for those who may be unfamiliar, tell us how the AI arbitrator works.
Well, thank you. Let me first start by telling you that this is not retail ChatGPT that anyone can just log into and get a couple of answers. This has been meticulously developed and planned and built over the course of about a year. Again, utilizing engineers, outside consultants, legal authorities, as well as advocates and arbitrators engaged in the process. And basically, what AI Arbitrator is a platform upon which two parties, documents only type cases, and we've started in the construction industry, has been built out in an AI native environment, meaning this was built from the ground up. It was not a process that we just started to bring outside AI products into. But AI Arbitrator is really the entire product. It moves the parties from filing their claims and counterclaims through determining the arguments and the facts by analyzing the legal claims made, and then reasoning through those arguments so that when we appoint a human arbitrator to read through all of the material and ultimately make a decision, they are presented with a case that has been summarized by AI, where the legal, again, arguments have been parsed and analyzed and reviewed by AI so that the human arbitrator can render their decision at the end of the day. That's essentially it, but it's a structured, rules-based digital platform and decision maker built specifically for dispute resolution. And so it's pretty exciting to have rolled out. And as we will talk about in just a few minutes, we're going to be rolling out AI Arbitrator into various industries and different caseloads as well.
So I think it's important to note there something you said, that there's a human arbitrator who ultimately makes a decision. So really, AI arbitrator may be a bit of a misnomer since there's a human arbitrator and they sign the award. Is that correct?
It is. And as you know, and your audience can appreciate, the human is vital at this particular stage, not only in AI's development, but in terms of satisfying the award, going to a court and having that award attempted to be challenged or vacated or reaffirmed in the court. And so there's various needs for or reasons why we need a human in the loop now. But Essentially, the human is there to double check AI's output, even though the system has been validated by not only the advocates inputting their information and confirming AI's output prior to reaching the human, but when it reaches the human, they are in charge. It is them who reviews the draft award and makes any edits that they want to or need to, and then puts their signature on the award and issues it to the parties. And that's a very similar process to the traditional human-based arbitration.
And I understand we've made some upgrades to the process with the AI arbitrator. Um, One of them being, if I'm a claimant, I log in, I put in my claims, and then the AI checks with me to make sure it's understood my claims. Is that right?
That's right. And I started off with the note that this is not your retail chat GPT. Um, excuse me. The AI arbitrator was trained on over 1,400 construction cases, and then a subset of those were intricately detailed by a group of arbitrators who we brought in as experts that sort of, I guess, gold labeled how they would have approached those cases, which were anonymized, by the way, so that we could train our agentic AI to parse claims, reason through, and come as close to human reasoning as possible with machine learning, um, so that those outputs are not they're our AI arbitrator operates within a closed system, so it does not go out to the internet to try and please us, which is one of the big complaints about ChatGPT and others. So it is really only deciding the case in front of it based on the documents that have been presented to it by both parties. And then within, I mentioned the gold labeling. We have up to, I think it's 6 or 8 specific agents that go in and do specific work so as not to, we've all been in sort of the death spiral of AI conversations where you just don't think it's getting it right and you eventually have to start over. These agents have specific tasks in mind. They go into those tasks and then they can refer to those 1,400 cases um, as sort of as playbooks, if you will. Not that they're mirroring or mimicking or stealing the decisions made in the past, but it's looking to that for guidance on how it should reason through these particular problems. So it's pretty
And
cool.
yeah, and as we open up new dispute types, I assume we're going to follow a similar trajectory where we're training it on past awards and using expert arbitrators to help develop and, like you said, gold label its outputs uh, so that we can have that expertise in commercial or healthcare or whatever the next dispute type is.
That's correct. The brains of the AI has been built, sort of that core model of reasoning and analyzing skills. So really, in future iterations of AI Arbitrator, we'll just need to have past data on which to train it, and so that it knows what it's talking about. Really, we're training it, on the industry vernacular, the nuances of particular industries, any particular policy or statutes or laws that might affect that particular type of caseload. So we're being very meticulous with how we build AI Arbitrator and how we roll AI Arbitrator out. We're not trying to boil the ocean. We know it's going to take time for parties to buy into the concept of AI arbitration, AI-led arbitration, that is to say. And so we want that comfort level to be 100% prior to moving into the next industries. But I can tell you that we're already starting to train AI arbitrator in sort of that general commercial caseload. And then as industries decide that they're starting to move into it, we will go in and maybe accelerate that particular industry learning gap so that we can roll AI Arbitrator out to them as well.
Yeah. So, what is the next step for the AI arbitrator?
It's a great question, and the legal industry is really guiding us in where we should go next. One thing that I think is really exciting is Dispute Simulator, which should roll out within the first couple of weeks in March. And essentially, that's a unilateral approach to AI arbitrators so that if you're engaged either at the beginning of a dispute, um, let's say you just got a letter across your desk and you're somewhat familiar with it, but you want to get an idea of the strength of your case, you can go ahead and plug in whatever documents or arguments that you want to make, pretend to be the other side, and produce any documents or arguments that you think they would raise against your claim or against your client. And you can get an idea of what an AI arbitrator would produce to a human arbitrator. So we're stopping short of the human, but we're giving you a really good idea of how your case might be decided based on the arguments that you presented. And for me, that's going to be huge because that's not only going to give parties an earlier opportunity to potentially settle their case, which is what we're in business to do, resolve disputes, but it also is a lower cost entry into AI arbitrator, potentially an access to justice type response to that. So that's cool. And then, as I mentioned, we're moving into other industries fairly quickly, much more quickly than we could, having built out the entire AI arbitrator over the course of the last year.
Got it. Okay. Um, Frequent viewers of the podcast will remember my episode with Claros, where I talked to Federico Ast, and we discussed a program that they ran, a non-binding program between consumers and a crypto platform. And the research there suggested that even when the consumers got a decision that was not necessarily favorable to them, they still accepted the decision because they felt like they were heard. And I think that's a strength of the AI arbitrator, the AAA AI arbitrator, is that it's really interacting with the parties throughout the process, and checking to make sure that it has heard correctly their claims and understands them. Um, are we
That,
looking
that
at any sort of non-binding process or approach for the AI arbitrator?
We have already a non-binding process. We're, I think, candidly trying to figure out where that process can evolve into greater use. Um, it could be the consumer area. The employment area is also an industry or a type of case where I have seen the employer will introduce arbitration that's binding on them and non-binding to the employee. And we've seen that in the consumer world as well. There are challenges to the consumer caseload, especially being the world's largest ADR provider. I mean, your audience certainly knows the challenges there. Um, and so I think consumer is one caseload that I really could see a non-binding process introduced and where parties are settling their cases once they receive that non-binding award. Um, but I think it'll take a user to request that of us as opposed to us sort of kind of just introducing it to the marketplace without dotting our I's and crossing the T's. We want to be very sort of conservative, as I mentioned, very meticulous with how we roll this out. We don't want to throw it out and create a bunch of controversy around a caseload that already has, as I noted, some challenges around it. So we've got to be we've got to be mindful of that within our certain pockets of industry. I think business to business certainly is there. We're getting a lot of interest in international arbitration. And aside from a few presentations specifically on consumer, I just have not heard from either the large company or a user group of consumers who are pushing for this just yet. Although I think the access to justice issues, it lowers cost, it speeds resolution, will eventually find itself in the ether, and parties will begin to acknowledge its use case in those particular areas.
And unlike traditional arbitration with the AAA, there's not really a case manager involved, and things can actually move very quickly with the AI arbitrator simply based on the speed of the parties in responding and uploading their documents and that sort of thing. So it could be a much faster process even than traditional arbitration.
It can be, and even though it's documents only right now, we've had interest on, people have asked us what size of claim is, are we keeping from this? And the answer is, as long as it's documents only in two parties, the claim size should not matter, does not matter, at least in terms of the brains of the AI arbitrator. And the process itself is designed to be sort of like a TurboTax, kind of walks you through with all of the steps on the left-hand side, what to expect, what's coming up next. And everything is email automated and generated through our platform. So parties are not utilizing AAA as an intermediary necessarily, but there are certainly options for the parties to hit pause or to call out for technical assistance and those kinds of things. But it's developed to be as self-driving as possible to create those efficiencies in the administration.
Got it. What's the most important thing parties should know or potential users should know about the AI arbitrator?
Well, I think first and foremost, again, that it's not a replacement to, or it's not trying to take the place of a chat GPT or one of these things that you can jump on and ask it to create a slide or anything like that. It is solely basing its decision making on the documents provided. The second thing is we do not need or use any sort of data in that instant arbitration that's been filed with the AI arbitrator. So we have a zero data retention policy. Once the arbitration is complete, we dispose of your information, shred it, bleach, bit it, or whatever you'd like to call it. The third thing, I think the biggest misconception is that AI is making the decision and issuing the award. Right now, we have 9 construction arbitrators, because that's the industry we started in, that were all referred to us by our construction industry vice presidents. All 9 of these have been on the panel for quite a few years, and all have seen a number of arbitrations, which make them more experienced than your new arbitrator, if you will. And so the human in the loop, we touched on it, that it's critical for the confirmation process or even the award issuance, but it's also there to make sure that the AI arbitrator is producing a good result that the human arbitrator can make their own and edit again, delete whatever they need to, add claims, and issue that final award. I'm not going to use the Texas phraseology that what AI is not capable of doing and the humans are good at, and that's smelling sort of the BS arguments that sometimes some of our parties put in. So that human experience is critical, I think, at this stage in the AI arbitrator process. So those are really sort of the top 3 questions that I get in conferences or presentations, and one that we are actively talking about and trying to disavow people of.
Got it. So it's really taking the arguments of the parties, it's listening to the parties, and suggesting an award to the human arbitrator, who can then completely throw out that award if they wanted to, but otherwise could adopt or edit the award and sign it and go from there.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the way it's structured is the claimant uploads their data, AI summarizes it, and then claimant validates it before it goes even to the other side. The other side files their response. It feeds through AI and they get a chance to validate that output before it goes to the other side. And then together, those parties see both outputs and then have a chance to comment one last time as to, how AI summarized these things before it even gets to the human. Then the AI arbitrator says, hey, human, here's what I've parsed through in terms of claims. Do you agree with the claims? So they're going through step by step at how a human arbitrator would move through the documents as well, by confirming the claims, confirming the outputs, confirming the dollar amounts being sought and the recommended dollar amounts in the award. And then at that point, the human arbitrator can edit the award document, change the dates, dollar amounts, whatever they would like, and then issue it with their signature.
This is all very fascinating, and we released this kind of suddenly, so I was super impressed and wanting to learn more about it. But did we miss anything that we should know about the AI arbitrator?
I don't think so. This is one of the most efficient podcasts I've been on, and I appreciate it. I think we got to the crux of where we're at with AI Arbitrator, how AI Arbitrator was built and operates, and where it's going in the future. So, very well done. Thank you so much. I should stop and say, what questions do you have that I did not address?
I think we covered it. I wrote the questions, so I thought of this ahead of time. So I think we covered it. But thank you, Andrew, for joining the podcast. And we have a whole website set up where you can learn about the AI arbitrator, view the demos, and of course, please feel free to reach out to me or Andrew or anyone else at AAA that you know for more information. We'll be happy to provide that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you again on the next episode.
All right. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.